not to spend too much time on tech, but cloud versus on-prem. How do you feel about it? Where are you in the journey? And what are your opinions about what people should be thinking about in their data organizations about leveraging the cloud or not?
Well, when I found out that we didn't really have a data strategy. Well, there was no data strategy. There was no data environment per se. I felt like it would be, if I had to manage all of that, it had to all be cloud. So there wasn't an on-prem option at the time. I don't know that I think I have pros and cons to each. It's not for everything's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And there are,
but you're mostly cloud. You're 100% cloud. Wow. And mostly Azure, Microsoft, or a mix of
mostly Azure, but some AWS.
Gotcha. Well, that's great. Well, we've heard, many of our customers, Tamer, really have warmed up to Azure, and they seem to be doing really well. And Cloud Data Factory seems to be a really fantastic offering.
Yeah. I love the fact that, like I said, when we did it, well, one, the cost, right? The cost is much less for us. And the support is a lot less. So, not having to have a large full-time ops team has helped dramatically, because I have a much smaller, I went from companies where I had 200 employees to, having a fraction of that. But what is amazing to me with my team is how much we're able to produce. So I think we're on maybe sprint 42, and we've developed an entire data management architecture, a strategy, an environment, dozens of models built inside of a product, all in 42 sprints. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Well, it's incredible just to hear, data management hero like yourself actually talking about sprints, right? I mean, there was a time like old world MDM projects took years, right? And waterfall, and for us, I don't know, we like to talk about data ops as kind of like this more agile approach to data management, but it sounds like you're practicing this every day. And
I lived those years with you. I want you to know that. I lived the 6 months, 2 year MDM.
So brutal.
So to be able to produce stuff so fast, honestly, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to work with Bain Capital and with GRI, and to be given this opportunity to be the CEO of the data company, to be kind of handed that reign to say, what it's going to take to make us better. What we need, just do it, and to not have to have some guardrails, but to have the ability to, and the trust and the confidence in my management to say, you've got our best interest at heart. Do what you do best. It's been a lot of fun. It's definitely a job I love.
So cool. Sounds like you've got truly have a seat at the table. And so tell me about your organization. How are you organized, and how do you see that changing kind of going forward?
So right now we have everybody kind of in one development team, which I'm not sure that down the road I might split that out, because it's more than the dozen. I think that typically most agile development that I've done in the data space is worked well with kind of that 10 to 12 people. So we probably put a little too many products into one sprint at a time. So we might look at, how we break out the MDM projects versus some of the other, a lot of our models that we're working on right now. We might have visualization. We might have data scientists as well as data engineers that are more individually grouped and maybe like a group of 3 rather than even the groups of 12 to kind of create like smaller agile teams that can come together. But we've tried it a few different ways and obviously like right now it's really working, but it's just, thinking down the road with all the different products that we're developing, doesn't make sense. But I really love having everybody on a daily stand up, although it doesn't take 15 minutes, it actually takes us about 45 to an hour. But it's good for me because another thing that's really unique about my organization is it's 100% remote.
Really?
Not because of COVID. Like we've been 100% remote from day one. One of the things that the board gave me is the ability to hire who I needed wherever they were. So, and I think that because of that, I've been able to acquire, great talent that, I don't want to move to Detroit or I don't want to move to Denver, where our core offices are. So we've been able to have people in different time zones and to be able to come together every single day, face to face, to talk about, what did you get done in the last 24 hours? What are you doing today? And what risks do you have? And so because of that, I think that they are incredibly talented and we're able to get so much done. Like the volume and the velocity of the team has really, it's 4 times what it was 2 years ago.
Wow. So it sounds like you have it all. You have a lot of these things that many other companies are striving for, cloud-based, virtual teams, everybody remote, very agile approach. Like it sounds like you're practicing those mainstream every day at scale. It's like a role model for. But there's so many people that would love to have just 1 or 2 of those things, and you're doing all of them in real time. So what do you think it's going to take? What advice do you have for other organizations? Do you think that they should, sort of as they go through their digital transformation and start to desire to be able to manage data as an asset, do you think that they should greenfield things and kind of start from scratch, or do you think that they should, take their time and kind of move incrementally? What do you think is the general, sort of orientation or center of gravity they should have in terms of how they approach that kind of digital transformation and data as an asset?
I would say first most start small, like get big wins, right? Okay. You want raving fans. For me, we had to have raving fans all over we had to have different types of raving fans, customers that are raving fans, C-level executives that are raving fans, managers and directors that are raving fans, and even employees that are raving fans, right?
Yeah, right.
And so I say, when you start small and you can get big wins, then you can share those big wins and word gets out, right? Happy people, happy customers, does a lot for you. And so I think that that's number one is don't try to bite off more than you can.
So don't boil the ocean.
No, don't boil the ocean, no matter what it is, whether it's for master data management, we picked one subject area, or data governance, one subject area, and do stuff that you can do fast because for us, getting an MVP out there is really important. I'd never had global responsibility for products before either. So, I was the data diva for a long time. So it was, this was a whole new world for me. But one of the things I learned really fast is that we can get a product out and get all the other stuff afterward. Like we can enhance it and enrich it, but getting it out there, getting it in people's hands, use it. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Tell us what data it needs. These are data products, right? These are not, application products. These are products that enable you to make decisions about your workforce. And so getting it into their hands and getting that one-on-one feedback, and being able to be agile enough that, I would say for the first maybe 36 sprints, we ran bi-weekly sprints and monthly release.
Wow.
Okay, with COVID, we've been running bi-weekly sprints and bi-weekly releases.
Seriously. Oh my gosh.
So, but I mean, after, 40 sprints, these guys know each other better than they probably know themselves. But I think that having those quick wins in the customer, whether the customer is internal or external, because we have both. I have global responsibility for enterprise data as well as customer data. But I think, one, I would definitely say trust. That was a big part of it, right? Making decisions about data you trust. You can lose a raving fan very quickly by having data quality, so invest the time in those types of things that will help them to make confident, fact-based decisions. Now, if the data is bad at the core, do not fix it in the front layer. Like, go back to the source, because otherwise every time you go to the well, you're going to have the bad data still going to be there. So no matter what, we always take the time to go back to the system of origination and not the system of record, and fix any data quality or any anomalies at the source, so that if the customer were ever to look at something without being in one of our products, we want to make sure that they trust it, right? I think the other thing is the visibility about the black box. We have a lot of competitors that have, I would say, I'm obviously biased, so I'm never going to say, anybody's baby's cuter than mine. But what makes us different is that we don't have a black box. We open the lid. Throughout every product we do, we provide all those things. Like, we give you, what was the data confidency? What was the data quality? Like, what is it? What is the data definition? How is it being used? Where did it originate? What date is it based off of? And those types of things really helped our customers, internal and external,